Ever wonder what secrets lie buried in the pages of U.S. history? Textbooks often give us a sanitized version, a highlight reel of triumphs and heroes. But what about the stories they leave out? It's the dark, uncomfortable truths that are conveniently swept under the rug. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. We are going to explore 100 dark facts from American history that you were likely never taught in school. These aren't just trivia. They are stories that shape the nation in profound, often disturbing ways. So, get ready, because history is about to get a whole lot darker. Let's start with a chilling practice from the colonial era. In some early American colonies, a system called headright was used to encourage settlement. It granted land to anyone who paid for their own or another's passage to Virginia. Sounds fair, right? But it created a massive incentive for human trafficking, laying the groundwork for indentured servitude and, eventually, chattel slavery on a massive scale. It wasn't about opportunity. It was a land grab fueled by human bodies. Moving into the 19th century, did you know about the Pork and Beans War? No, it wasn't a fight over canned goods. It was a violent border dispute between Maine and New Brunswick, Canada, in 1838. Tensions over logging rights got so high that both sides called up their militias. While it ended without a full-blown war, it shows how quickly conflicts could escalate over resources, even something as simple as timber. Here's one that hits close to home for our financial system. The Panic of 1837 was one of the most severe financial crises in U.S. history, triggering a major depression that lasted for years. What caused it? President Andrew Jackson's war on the Second Bank of the United States. His policies led to rampant speculation and ultimately economic collapse. Thousands lost their life savings, and the country was plunged into poverty, all stemming from a political battle over banking. Let's talk about medical history. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, radium water was sold as a health tonic. Yes, radioactive water. Marketed as a cure-all, people drank it willingly, believing it would give them energy and cure diseases. One famous proponent, a wealthy industrialist named Eben Byers, drank several bottles a day. He eventually died a horrific death from radium poisoning, with parts of his jaw literally disintegrating. It's a terrifying example of how medical quackery can have fatal consequences. During World War I, the U.S. government passed the Sedition Act of 1918. This law made it a federal crime to use disloyal, profane, scurrilous, or abusive language about the government, the flag, or the armed forces. Essentially, it criminalized dissent. People were imprisoned for simply speaking out against the war. One presidential candidate, Eugene V. Debs, was sentenced to 10 years in prison for an anti-war speech. It's a stark reminder of how civil liberties can be suppressed in times of national crisis. Think the Great Depression was just about the stock market crash? Think again. During this time, a massive and largely forgotten repatriation campaign targeted Mexican Americans. Between 1 and 2 million people of Mexican descent were deported or coerced into leaving the U.S. Here's the most shocking part. An estimated 60% of them were American citizens, born and raised in the United States. They were rounded up and shipped to Mexico, a country many had never even seen. Let's jump to World War II. We all know about the heroic efforts on the battlefield, but have you heard of Operation Paperclip? This was a secret U.S. intelligence program that brought more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians to the United States after the war. The U.S. government effectively whitewashed their pasts in the name of gaining a technological edge over the Soviet Union. In the Cold War. Speaking of the Cold War, let's delve into Project MKUltra. From the 1950s to the 70s, the CIA conducted a top-secret and illegal human experimentation program. They were trying to develop mind control techniques. The agency dosed unsuspecting American citizens with LSD and other drugs, used hypnosis, psychological torture, and sensory deprivation. The goal was to create the perfect spy, or even a programmed assassin. Most of the records were destroyed, but the truth eventually came out, revealing a horrifying abuse of power against its own people. The 1960s were a time of social upheaval, but some government responses were truly sinister. The FBI's COINTELPRO, or counterintelligence program, was designed to disrupt and neutralize domestic political organizations. While it initially targeted communists, it soon expanded to include civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., anti-war protesters, and even feminist groups. The FBI used psychological warfare, forged documents, and planted false media stories to discredit and dismantle these movements, seeing them as a threat to the established order. Here's a story of environmental disaster. From the 1940s to the 1970s, a neighborhood in Niagara Falls, New York, was built on top of a toxic waste dump. This became known as Love Canal. A chemical company had buried 22,000 tons of toxic waste there. Decades later, the chemicals began seeping into basements and yards, causing widespread illness, birth defects, and miscarriages. The community had to be evacuated, becoming a symbol of corporate negligence and environmental catastrophe. Did you know about the time a U.S. state essentially had its own navy? In the 1930s, Louisiana Governor Huey Long, a powerful and controversial populist, established a massive personal security force. It included a state-run police force that answered only to him, complete with patrol boats, aircraft, and advanced weaponry. He used this private army to intimidate political opponents and enforce his will, running Louisiana like a personal fiefdom until his assassination in 1935. Let's look at the dark side of westward expansion. The Sand Creek Massacre of 1864 is a particularly brutal example. A 675-man force of Colorado Territory militia attacked and destroyed a peaceful village of Cheyenne and Arapaho people. Despite the villagers flying an American flag and a white flag of truce, the militia killed and mutilated an estimated 150 to 200 Native Americans, more than half of whom were women and children. It was an act of genocide that the government initially tried to portray as a heroic battle. Ever heard of the business plot of 1933? This was an alleged political conspiracy where wealthy businessmen planned a military coup to overthrow President Franklin D. Roosevelt. They were supposedly unhappy with his New Deal policies. The plot was revealed by retired Marine Corps Major General Smedley Butler, who claimed he was approached to lead a march of 500,000 veterans on Washington. While a congressional committee confirmed parts of his testimony, no one was ever prosecuted, and the story faded into obscurity. Consider the Tuskegee study. For 40 years from 1932 to 1972, the U.S. Public Health Service conducted a study on the natural progression of untreated syphilis in poor rural African American men who thought they were receiving free health care from the government. The men were never told they had syphilis and were not treated, even after penicillin became the standard cure in the 1940s. The study continued until it was leaked to the press, revealing a horrifying breach of medical ethics and trust. In 1985, the Philadelphia police dropped a bomb on a residential house. A bomb. The house was the headquarters of a radical black liberation group called MOVE. After a long standoff, police dropped an explosive device from a helicopter onto the roof. The resulting fire was allowed to burn, destroying over 60 homes and killing 11 people, including 5 children. It remains one of the most shocking instances of domestic police action in modern U.S. history. How about the Bonus Army? In 1932, in the depths of the Great Depression, some 17,000 World War I veterans and their families marched on Washington, D.C. They were demanding early payment of a service bonus they had been promised. They set up camps near the Capitol. President Hoover ordered the Army to disperse them. Led by General Douglas MacArthur, troops used tear gas and bayonets to drive the veterans out, burning their camps to the ground. The image of the Army attacking its own impoverished veterans was a public relations disaster. These are just a fraction of the stories hidden in the archives of American history. From secret government programs and political conspiracies to massacres and medical atrocities. The full story of the United States is far more complex and often much darker than the one we retold. Acknowledging these truths isn't about being unpatriotic. It's about understanding the whole picture. It's about learning from the darkest chapters to ensure they are never repeated. What we don't know can hurt us, and history, especially the parts they try to hide, has a way of repeating itself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the shadows of the past. If you found these stories as shocking and important as we do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden history. Let us know in the comments which facts surprised you the most.